A new case of anthrax, this time in the heart of New York City. It comes as the nation is on alert and on edge. Tonight, what you need to know about anthrax, what the risks are and or not of getting it, and the investigation into these latest cases. And as the war on terror builds, the president says, unite for the fight.
We need each other more than ever, and we're responding as quickly and as forcefully as we can.
Plus, the air war slows. Amid some evidence from inside Afghanistan, it may be working. Breaking news on airline safety, and it's not a promising flight plan. And Eye on America, casualties of terror, remembering the sailors of the cold 1 year later.
This is the CBS Evening News with Dan Rather. Special expanded coverage, America on Guard. From CBS News headquarters in New York, here is Dan Rather.
Good evening. It is a somber time for this country. The United States government says you should be on alert because new terror attacks could come at any moment. American men and women in the military are risking their lives overseas in a war against a mass murder conspiracy. And today, a fourth case of anthrax confirmed. It's possibly delivered by mail here in New York City. The best weapon against fear is facts, and tonight CBS will give you as many facts as we possibly can. We have correspondents reporting from key locations across the country, and we begin in Washington, where Jim Stewart has the latest on the investigation of the new anthrax case here in New York. Jim?
Dan, the latest anthrax scares center around 2 letters mailed to news organizations in New York. And while both were postmarked St. Petersburg, Florida, it's still not clear that they have any connection or whether, in fact, they contained anything dangerous.
It is almost certainly not terrorism, but the discovery of a relatively mild case of skin anthrax in New York today was enough to send an already jittery nation right to the brink of panic. U.S. and New York City officials moved quickly to explain the case and urge calm.
No matter what you say, people are going to be, some people will be afraid, but they really don't have to be. The reality is that this is being looked at. This looks like a contained situation.
The situation involved a secretary at NBC News who late last month opened a piece of mail containing an unidentified white powder. Several days later, she developed a skin lesion which was treated, and she is doing fine.
The test of the powder was negative to anthrax. The skin test was positive to anthrax.
So where she touched the anthrax spores isn't clear. But the FBI seemed immediately certain it had nothing to do with the terrorist attacks on September the 11th or an earlier detection of anthrax at a Florida-based tabloid newspaper.
We see no connection whatsoever to 9/11. The way we would handle this is to open it as a separate criminal matter and proceed from there.
Nevertheless, officials in Washington suggested everyone should play it safe.
If you see anything suspicious, contact your local law enforcement officials.
Specifically, be prudent and call police if any unidentified powder is sent to you by mail. Contact your doctor if any recent skin lesions turn dark and start to grow, and seek aid if any flu-like symptoms cause severe inhalation problems. But also know this, courtesy of the U.S. Postal Service.
We have not ever seen any real incident, an incident therefore where actual biological hazards have been transmitted through the United States mails.
And on the broader issue of real terrorist threats, U.S. officials now confirm that the alert issued Thursday by the FBI was partially in response to warnings from foreign intelligence services. And there was no mention in those warnings of a chemical or biological threat. Dan?
Jim Stewart live in Washington.